The human being, if we open the Holy Quran, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala engaged with the angels concerning the secret of the human being in a manner that astonished them. Malaikatul Rahman. What honor, first of all, Allah shows them every time He addresses them. That is the first thing also where the usual glorification of Allah is multiplied in indescribable ways, that Allah addresses them directly. And He will say, such as in the hadiths of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, the holy hadith, Hadith Qudsi, when Allah says, Ya malaikati. And more often than not, you will see just that just as in the Quran, also in the hadith, it is in the context of showing the honor of human beings. And Allah taking them to witness how much He honors and has ever honored the human beings in creating them. And giving them a secret that they themselves are unaware of and cannot fathom. The angels themselves cannot fathom it. It means it needs a process. It does not come easy. The angels who are addressed by the all-true al-Haqq Jalla Jalalu, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels that belong to Him, Malaikatul Rahman, the angels that are described also, their highest ones as the ones brought near, the Muqarrabun. They need to say, Subhanaka la ilma lana. And He confirms it. That's very true. Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. He confirms it. You know nothing. You have to ask me, and I will show you. And I know what you do not know. And how much more for us human beings should we take the cue? Take the cue, we can say that. The clue or the cue? The cue, yeah. Take the cue. Like, learn something from that this is the other. Allah is showing us, Him speaking to the angels, but in reality is addressing us to understand. See the way that the lady will talk to her neighboring lady neighbor, but she wants her daughter-in-law to hear it. As they say that in Arabic, meaning that to understand that it might be that a teacher speaks to a student in maybe a tough tone, or to his son or daughter, like that, so that the other one will understand that in reality it is addressed to them, because they need it more, that advice. So they are basking in the lights of Allah that He gave them of perpetual zikr and tasbih. Their food is zikr. They do not sleep. They do not need to eat or drink. They have that energy, the angels. We are in need of that teaching, more than them. We are in need of that adab, more than them. May Allah bless them. They were teaching us just like, subhanAllah, the Sahaba also were teaching us through their Q&A with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also welcoming complete strangers who would dare to ask more. And it is good, because sometimes even the straightforwardness of the Bedouin was more welcome to the Sahaba, even despite the lack of adab. You see, because it would open up the gate of prophetic answers and so forth, which they were longing to know, to receive also. So every occasion is a gain to learn knowledge that is beneficial and saving. So we learn from them, the angels here, the adab of surrendering to Allah and coming to Allah with the recognition of our complete ignorance, our complete incapacity, ajiz, jahl, our complete shortcoming or taqsir, yani taqsir in our akhlaq. We have no work that is worthy of showing to alim al-sir wal-i'lan, the knower of the seen and the unseen, the knower of the things that are kept secret and the things that are shown. Allah knows everything. He knows our hearts, He knows our deeds, and we have nothing to rely on but His mercy. And they said, even you, Ya Rasul, yes, even me, he said, without which mercy, the divine mercy, no one can hope to enter paradise. So even though we are tasked to go to work and to do good deeds and to avoid bad deeds, and Allah says they will be rewarded for their good deeds and they will punish for their bad deeds, and they say, بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, for what they used to do. Yani going to the good end and enjoying eternal life and blessings for what they used to do, and or the other way, also for what they used to do. And they also are those who end up in the bad way. They ask, oh Allah, send us back, because now we understand and we know, so that we may do salihat. They ask as if so it would be easy for us to make the mistakes of thinking that it is our salihat that guarantee us paradise. But Rasulullah was very clear about that. So even though we do what the people of paradise are supposed to do, yet we do not count on it as if it was, that's it now, it's clinched, I have clinched it. No. Even if you are like that man that is mentioned in the hadith, to whom Allah gave 80 years of pure worship, that he was doing nothing but worship, angel-like. Gave him that karamah. And he inspired him also to ask, oh Allah, enter me into paradise on the basis of my deeds. To show him that what is your deeds in comparison to the mercy of Allah. And when the time came when he was going to be judged, Allah asked him, do you want to go to paradise on the basis of your deeds or on the basis of my mercy? He said, my deeds. Because you gave me 80 years of worship, of doing nothing but worship and avoiding sins. And so they put his deeds on one side of the balance, and one of his two eyes that Allah gave him on the other side as a blessing, the blessing of sight, in just one of his two eyes. And that blessing weighed more heavily. It was not, you cannot thank enough for that. So then at that time he changed and he said, oh, Ya Rabbi, your mercy, your mercy. This is a hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, showing us an illustration of what he said also in his other hadith, that no one universally enters. So we are making salawat on the Holy Prophet ﷺ. We are glorifying Allah. We are trying to be more like the angels, and the angels are non-stop praising Allah and glorifying Him with the purest hearts imaginable, without any obstacles of ego. They do not have ego in them, the angels. They do not have dunya standing in their way and trying to entice them right and left. They do not have hawa, proclivities, likes and dislikes that compete for their attention and for their energy. And they do not have shaitan hounding them, because they are much more powerful than that. So, yet, Allah gave that khilafah to the human being, and they were surprised. Legitimately so. So they wanted to know the secret behind that. And Allah said, wait, you will see. So, that khilafah, what it means, it's something indescribably high. It cannot possibly just mean that you are going to be custodian of nature and of earthly resources, and in the sense of interpreting taskhir as being the king of the earth. It has to be something that is higher than that, because the earth, what is it? The dunya, which Allah said it ends and finishes. And then there is akhirah, which never ends and never finishes. So we need to pay attention, and the teachers draw our attention to that. The teachers of the Quran, whom the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, he described them as Ahlul Quran, Ahlullah. They are the people of Allah. Wa khassatuhu, and his intimates. Ahlul Quran, Ahlullah wa khassatuhu, because they are carrying the constitution in which that secret of the human being is described from beginning to end. So there are special ones among us, those Ahlullah, for example. And then he said, the mu'mins in general, he defined them. He said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The mu'min are nothing other than that. Actually, it is a very clear definition that says this, and that's what they are. Don't think they are something else. So, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ. They are those that, إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ. When Allah is mentioned, وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. Their hearts tremble. وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ. And when his verses are, and his signs are described or are recited to him, وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا. They increase them in belief. زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. And they have tawakkul on Allah, yani reliance on Allah and trust in Allah. And he said also in that same passage of Surah Al-Anfal, لَهُمْ دَرَجَاتٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ. This is very important. They have levels in the presence of their Lord. They are not all the same. You see? So, we have teachers. Can we claim that when we are born, we are at the same level as our parents in knowledge or our elders? No. It's as simple as that, and I don't go far. So, for some, Allah gave higher levels. So this is one illustration of it. We give respect to elders, and this is repeated time and again in the hadith, that whoever does not respect our elders, does not give mercy to our youngsters, is not one of us. So this is part of the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to acknowledge, to keep adab and respect, because of that they have been, struggling, learning, practicing, praying, and their hair has grayed in worship for longer than you and me. So recognize that, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing them ever closer to Him. So they might be, preceding you in the race to Allah. وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِنَ اللَّهِ. Yani race with one another towards forgiveness from Allah and the paradise that is wider than the earth and the heavens all put together. For you, prepared for you. So there are levels. We respect that. Anyone who tells you there are no levels is belying the Quran, belying Allah. Beware. We tell them. So Allah is telling us, beware. And He's addressing us, the believer. So when He says, أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهِ, it means if you are also truly believer, this is addressed to you. And He's giving you the benefit of good opinion that you are indeed a believer. Therefore, a fortiori, you must beware. Guard yourself against Allah's wrath and punishment and displeasure. Be on the side of His good pleasure and do what then? Ya Rabbi, your order at your beck and call, Ya Rabbi. Labbaik wa sa'daik. twice. And Allah says, وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ, and be with the truthful ones. Be with the truthful ones. So who are the truthful ones? So they will say, according to the circumstance of revelation, they will connect that to the Muhajirun being addressed to the Ansar. You see, so come and join the throng of the believers, but know your place also as beloved to Rasulullah as you are, yet still they are closer, the Muhajirun, yet to him than you. You see? So that is the immediate circumstance of revelation, but then in the larger context of the everlastingness of the meanings of the Quran, it means the entire Ummah also. It is addressed to the entire Ummah. So al-ibratu li al-umum, laysa li khusus al-nuzul. So this is a qa'da, a general rule that the gist and the understanding of the ayah is always for universal meaning, not only the meaning of the circumstance of revelation in historical knowledge of tafsir. Alright? So it applies to everyone. Everyone until the end of time must be with the Sadiqeen. And this is, don't go far. In the Fatiha itself, that is what we ask for. As we mentioned yesterday, last night, instead of just finishing by saying, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, Allah said, say also, clarify and qualify the sirat al-mustaqim. Make it more detailed what it means. Sirat al-ladhina, those whom an'amta alayhim, you have blessed. Defined elsewhere in the Holy Quran as الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين من أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا. Allah is vaunting to you and boasting to you and raising high on an announcement for you that these are the ones that I want you to ask me to guide you to their path and their model. If you say they don't exist, you are belying al-Kitab, you are belying Allah's good pleasure, you are in a deep, you are digging for yourself a very deep hole. How are you going to get out of it? Beware. Under any name that they are called. And he calls them also by the name of awliya Allah. What is awliya? It comes from the verb waliya. Waw, lam, ya. Waliya, to be near something. And we mentioned the muqarrabun. And we gave as an example also, by implication of how muqarrabun, the muhajirun, are to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Even in comparison to such as the Ansar, whom Prophet ﷺ described as hubbul ansari min al-iman. Love of Ansar is part of faith. He made it part of belief. If you love one of the Ansar, it means you have belief in you, you're happy. Bushra to you, how can I check that I have belief? See if you love one of the Ansar. Allahu Akbar. Imagine loving also the Muhajirun also. There was the Muhajirun. And among the Muhajirun, those about whom Prophet ﷺ said verbatim, حب علي من الإيمان لا يحبك إلا مؤمن ولا يبغضك إلا منافق. None loves you except a believer, and only a hypocrite would hate you, Ya Ali. So this, as we said again, لهم درجات, they have levels in the presence of Allah. And in another verse with respect to knowledge, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Above every possessor of knowledge. And what a high title already this is. Everyone in this mosque, inshallah, because a proof of belief and a mark of belief, this is the Prophet ﷺ saying it, is a mu'min. The one whose heart is attached to the mosque is a believer. Prophet ﷺ stamped that with the mark of truth by pronouncing this blessed hadith. That if you are here at this late hour and you wait for salat patiently, and you came perhaps specially for the reason to the mosque of listening to something that will benefit you, maybe not just in dunya but in akhirah also, that's the mark of belief. So, believer, possessor of knowledge, gave you the Quran between your flanks and to recite on your mortal tongue the immortal, beginningless speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isn't this a mark of karama? And created you not just as a human being, but as a Muslim, not just as a Muslim, but as one of the Ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad, the best and the seal of prophets, and their Imam. And then he gave you a special occasion also to thank him, because we are living in the end of times when even the smallest deed counts more than before. More than before, Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, there will come a time when there will be people coming with the good deed for them will count as for 50 of you, as if 50 of you receiving that reward for that person. And they said, Ya Rasulullah, 50 of them or of us actually? They wanted confirmation, really 50 of us. And they are taking directly from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They have that unique Sahaba status, incomparable, and yet, so how they can match this with that? So now he repeated, no, 50 of you. More than 50 of you. And don't go far, you know that he said to them also, if you leave one thing out of 10, you will fail. But if they can do one thing out of 10, they will be saved. This is one, and also, يأتي زمان على الناس الحافظ على دينه كالقابض على الجمر. The one who preserves their deen, man or woman at that time, that there will come a time, meaning akhir zaman, in the time of fitna, the time of confusion. If to keep the religion is like holding on to a hot coal. Who can hold on to a hot coal? You have to keep putting it into the other hand until you cannot anymore. You put it into this hand, it might drop, and you pick it up again, but you have to hold on to it. And it burns, it's bitter, it's thankless, it's despairing, but you don't despair. Who giving you all that strength? You don't even know. You are carrying it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you, inshallah, tawfiq and hifz, an occasion to come back, ask istighfar, continue, pick yourself up, and you continue, and until Allah takes you back. How much reward if He said, more than 50 of you, Allahu Akbar. So abshiru, be happy. So the poet says, Ya ma'shar al-Islami, bushra lana. Yani abshiru, bushra lana. Happy tidings to us, O assembly of Islam. بشرى لنا معشر الإسلام فإن لنا من العناية ركنا غير منهدم. We have a pillar of support and strength that is indestructible, meaning invulnerable, invincible, in the Prophet ﷺ and in his inheritors, the inheritors of the Prophet ﷺ. You've heard of the Khulafa Rashidin. That's what is meant by those inheritors and the silsila that comes down to our parents, each and one of us, and our teachers. Subhanallah. And in any case, every single human being is born with that secret, the fitrah. in themselves, that pure gold of light that is shining in themselves. But then it might get covered up. And our job is to help us to keep it bright. So the hearts rust. إن هذه القلوب لتصدى وسقال القلوب, and the burnishing of hearts, you know the way you burnish a mirror, clean it and make it lustrous and bright again, is what? Zikrullah. Prophet Hadith, Zikrullah is non-negotiable for your happiness, non-negotiable for the peace of heart. Anyone who comes advising you zikrullah, that is a good friend, that is inspiration, and that is tawfiq to you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is coming your way, to pushing you to acquire the fruit of hifz. Because tawfiq comes as occasions for avenues of hifz for you. You want hifz or not, you want to be preserved and protected, follow that. So the advice is, let's go to zikr, make zikr. This builds up, this is, the soul gets strong. Hakim Tirmizi, one of the early scholars of Tirmiz in Central Asia, and he was Hakim, one of the sages, one of the early Sufi masters. He said that the ruh in a human being and the nafs are never strong at the same time. And they are never weak at the same time. Either one is strong and the other is weak, or vice versa. Always one has to be strong, one has to be weak. So strengthen your ruh by giving it its food that it requires, which is zikr of Allah, and line yourself up with the malaika and their support in your lives, and follow the good friend that, you know, what do we know? It might be Khidr, it might be a wali, it might be an angel, it might be just an inspiration that comes to your heart, not even through the voice of a neighbor or anything. That inspiration, that is also what we are referring to. And we are surrounded with those benefits and with those karamah from Allah. They are gifts. So accept them. Don't go denying them. Don't go denying that they exist. That does not make sense. That is against the whole understanding of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mercy, generosity, and the attributes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who intensely caring for you, Ra'uf, and he is dear and beloved, Aziz, and it weighs heavily on him, and he takes on your burden. Yes, always making istighfar for us and carrying for the ummah, but he wants you also to do your part. Do your part, be also a better wali. Do not content yourself with the wilaya of just basic, I took shahada and now. People of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah enter paradise. Once I asked my sheikh about, a certain sect, I said, Mawlana, about the Khawarij, I wanted some clarification. He immediately interrupted me and said, they are all in paradise. Meaning, Khawarij, Mu'tazila, Qadariya, this, that, whatever. Those. Yes, even people who made war against the Sahaba and takfir of them also. Like the Khawarij of old, and the Khawarij of this time also are worse because they are much more intermixed and camouflaged. So, but because they are people of La ilaha illallah, Shia, Rafidi, I don't, we cannot. They say La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah, and Prophet said, Man qala La ilaha illallah, dakhala al-jannah. Finish. Khalas. Cannot say, come to and ask, like the Shaykh, our Shaykh, I told you, like Imam Shafi said, I told you Rasulullah said that, and you told me, what do I think? What sky would cover me? What earth would carry me if I said other than what Rasulullah said? Cannot dispute. So don't dispute. Take the simple way, the positive facts that we know, Quran, Sunnah, Hadith, that is so widespread, and just accept. These are all for you as benefits, and don't look right or left. Why them also in paradise? What is it you are counting? Is it up to you? No. So that's, in a nutshell, to say that accept that fact of life, that we are called, all of us, to be awliya, without distinction. All human beings, I mean, not just all Muslims. We were created for that. We were created for that. So follow the order of your creation. And the more you do that, the more you will be pleasing to Allah and His Prophet ﷺ and to the believers. And you will be following the Sabil al-Mu'mineen, that is guaranteed protection in dunya and akhirah, at the time, in life, at the time of death, in the grave and upon resurrection. Your path will be clear, your map will be given to you. Your guide will take you by the hand. Your beloved Shaykh will be there. Your believing parents will be there. And it is, that bushra is real. Karamat al-awliya are real. This is aqidat al-Muslim. These are basic facts. Don't go shooting yourself in the foot with philosophical disputations about how is this, how is that, why? Don't put doubt where there is no doubt. وَمِنَ اللَّهِ التَّوْفِيقِ. We keep the best company, inshallah, because we need one another. We need a good friend. If we do not have a murshid in our life, a spiritual guide of the caliber of those people, men and women of old, at least we have a good friend. But such people of such caliber are never absent from the face of the earth. It has to be, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to be with the Sadiqeen at all times, until Qiyamah. So look for them and seek them. That niyyah will guide you in the meantime to the best company, the best friends, the best suhba, and this is one of them. This suhba, this company, inshallah, in the house of Allah, how not? Of course. Alhamdulillah ala dhalik. We are thankful, Ya Rabbi. Keep us with you and under your canopy. Keep us with the nur of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam guiding our path, and the nur of his inheritors and his friends. And غَدًا نَلْقَى الْأَحِبَّةِ مُحَمَّدًا وَحِزْبَهِ. Tomorrow we meet the beloved ones, Muhammad and his Hizb. The Yemenis were singing on the way, narrated by Anas ibn Malik in Sahih Bukhari. They believed in awliya. Muhammadan wa Hizbah, they were singing. They had not yet seen the Prophet ﷺ. They were on the way to enter Medina, and that's when they were chanting already. So chant, don't be shy, and love. Also, don't be afraid, don't be intimidated. And if someone says, how come you love so much? Isn't that exaggeration? Say that what the Prophet ﷺ said to the man who would not kiss his baby boys. We don't kiss our boys. And he said, Prophet ﷺ said, what can I do if Allah took away rahmah from your heart? It is a question of rahmah, and Allah gives more to some and less to others. It is a test. But Rasulullah ﷺ is all rahmah. When you love him, it's easy. You will have plenty of rahmah in your heart. So help others to love Rasulullah ﷺ, they will feel that rahmah. And inshallah, we will be enter under his shafa'ah and make lots of salam, make lots of sujood also. Rasulullah ﷺ said, if you want to be near me yawm al-qiyamah, help me against your nafs. How, Ya Rasulullah? He said, make lots of sujood. Meaning lots of nafil salat. Especially at night when people are asleep. He summed it up in such a beautiful way. Unbelievably simple. He said, أطعم الطعام, feed food to the people. وأفشوا السلام, and then give salam. Even before speaking, have the food available for people, invite them. This is the principle of Zawiyah, Sufiya. To always invite anyone, come, whoever you are, whatever you come from, come and share, because food is ma'ruf par excellence. Everyone recognizes that is goodness. We come, thank you for the bread, thank you for the rice, thank you for the meat. وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا والناس نيام تدخلوا الجنة بسلام. And pray while people are asleep. Meaning the nafil at night, which is, Imam Hassan Basri said, it is difficult, but if you do it, the fruits are immense. So that nafil at night, while people are asleep, if you do those three things, you enter paradise in peace. So that is all. That is what the Sufis are reminding people of, and they use the Zawiya for that. And if you follow that, that is your best recipe, inshallah. Simplicity, we keep to that, and we certainly do not find those with us that. That is Hadith of Prophet. That is Quran Kareem. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam wa ahkam. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.